What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. I want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description, but also in the pinned comment, you'll find a link to go over, get yourself a t-shirt, shaker cup, some samples for just $10, plus the cost of shipping. I know if you try the products, you are going to love them. As I've said for years, I use them literally every single day. Also, you guys should know by now, I'm a Weeble Preferred Influencer. Best promotion they have right now. Down in the pinned comment, all you have to do, click the link, go open an account. They're going to give you free stock. If you deposit a single dollar, they are going to give you more free stock. I want to talk about Madden. Again, now that we've seen pretty much the closure of Madden 23, we can speak relatively firmly in what EA established with the game. And I think as we look at the way they've kind of structured their seasons, so to speak, you see a company that is really struggling to identify with gamers and promote a product that truly has improved over the course of release. So I mentioned in the prior video, this whole play as John Madden was completely done in poor taste. John Madden was not known as an NFL player, obviously succumbed to injuries, and then used his knowledge as a football coach to make a legacy on the game. These are things not possible in Madden, and I think that goes hand in hand with the fact that beside this, you literally look at Field Pass Calvin Johnson, where they basically take a receiver, one of the greatest in the game, and allow him to play out of position as a defensive back, where his height allows him to dominate in ways that traditionally you may not have a safety play. So that just kind of goes hand in hand with John Madden's legacy not being respected by EA Sports, and the ability for them to just continue to use the same players over and over. Not just Calvin Johnson, but in the last day, Mike Vick comes back. Why are we continuing to do this? Advance the game forward. There's plenty of great players now that they could take advantage of, and to that point, the new superstar X Factors just aren't doing it. If you go back, there's a video on my channel, I don't know where, but I literally put the fear in people that this is what was going to happen. X Factors are not improving the game. X Factors are cheap code lines that are put into the game to give a player an ability that may or may not even make sense to their skill set. Over time, they've needed to be tweaked, added, in some cases removed, and yet EA Sports is willing to sit here and promote their product to you. And I think that's one thing that kind of gets lost in this. EA Sports is honestly still trying to sell its game to you. There are people that right now are getting back into the NFL because we have signings, trades, we have so many things going on within the sport. The excitement level for the NFL is starting to pick back up, and yet you have a game here that largely ignores all that. Now, I will respect in terms of the sport genre, games don't get updated in the offseason, so to speak, just like MLB The Show doesn't. That's a normal thing, but what's not normal is the inability for a company to go out and speak to its consumers and show, addressing at least, their concerns with progress. And because I did just mention the show, I want to, if you haven't had a look at what they've done, talk briefly about the fact that they've went out, they've added commentary, they've added regional broadcasts, they've added new presentations. These are all things that all sports gamers want. I think a lot of times we get lost in the ideology that the Madden gamer has some special demand. The Madden gamer has some specific outline of what we want that is very much different than, say, a baseball fan, a soccer fan, a hockey fan. It's simply not the case. Most sports gamers want their sport replicated to the best of the ability it can be. That includes going out and having a actual story-driven character mode that allows you to progress from amateur athlete to semi-pro, to professional, to have a regression that can send you back down and then put you back up at the highest level to put you in moments as a professional player that you earned. EA Sports' most recent adaptation of that is that you come back to the league as a washed-up player. Now, that story should essentially tell itself if you play the game outright. You should be able, just like you can in the show, to get called up to Major League Baseball, and then demoted down to AAA or AA, and then have a reclamation of your own. In that case, you're not needing to be spoon-fed this story like Cedric Mullins had in real life, because the player is actually living it out, and you're sitting there battling as that player to get back to where you'd like to be. Everything doesn't need to be a narrative-driven story. The user, the gamer, has enough intelligence to put two and two together and respect what's happening as their skill diminishes or improves in the game. Yet EA widely ignores this and forces you down these contrite story modes that make little to no sense for the fact of simply saying, well, we have a story mode in our game. And the fact that they come out and they essentially try to not make the game better in areas that we want. How many times have we asked for a halftime show? How many times have we asked for a pregame show? Yet EA largely ignores these. When you look at what the show's doing this year, they're going out and doing much more in terms of whole team presentation. Not just showing the star player, not just showing the key player, but going back and showing the entire starting team. Talking about that team in a way that holds it to a standard of a team sport. EA Sports essentially does the opposite of that, and I think look no further than this graphic. This graphic is not focused on what they are doing to make the entire game better, but rather small segments of the game better. Like, play as John Madden, play as Calvin Johnson, play with new superstars, play as Team of the Year. You know, these are not things holistically that gamers are asking for. I understand there is a small segment of Madden Ultimate Team gamers that live and die by the ideology of different promotions they have, and that Ultimate Team and Team of the Year are big deals to them, but they don't do anything to be the center point of making the game better. And that's one thing I think that gets lost with a lot of people. If you make Madden better, right? If you make X's and O's football better, if you make presentation better, guess what? You're elevating every aspect of the game. When commentary improves, when you have team-specific, region-specific commentary, the entire game improves. Not only because you have a gamer that wants to play those game modes that they might have ignored before, but because the players that are playing the game modes they love so much have new depth added to it that make them want to play the game more than they were the year before. And that in a nutshell is the issue that Madden has. Its shelf life is very small, right? People play Madden really to the start of the NFL season, and that's it. And I think EA knows that when you go back and you look. This year, they didn't even carry these things over. When you go load up Play Now, it's still the playoffs. It's still Week 10. Go load up Play Now and MLB The Show, and you can pick one of hundreds of games, and have weather, rosters, lineups, times, everything painfully detailed, even down to the uniform selections that the teams used. And yet somehow, this something that all gamers want is completely void from EA, Madden, and its product. And this is why every year we can sit here and make a list, and that time is coming. The wish list for Madden 24 is on its way, and we will probably ask for the same things we asked with Madden 23, Madden 22, so on and so forth, and they'll be largely ignored. The reason so many people don't play this game is because it's a poor product that doesn't listen to its consumers, that don't make meaningful changes throughout the course of the year to make its game better. Let me ask you this to close this out. If you go back and you look at Madden on release date versus Madden today, what have they done to help someone want to buy the game today that they didn't do when the game was released? The answer to that question, I believe, is nothing. That's because they've done nothing to improve the quality of this game, the product in this box, or the download that you get. And it will forever stay that way until there's some real changes at EA Sports, and I certainly hope we're on the cusp of that happening, because if not, you're going to have a lot of videos that sound like videos from years past, where we talk about legacy issues that EA will not remove from its game, and a product that is way below the standard of any sports game on the market. Love to know your thoughts on this, appreciate you watching this video, and just like a bad copy of EA and Madden, I will be back in the week with more commentary.